Hey, how's it going? And welcome to another video. Alright, so it was brought to my attention not too long ago that there is in fact a lost Persona manga. And by that I mean partially lost, so allow me to explain what this is and kind of what we're looking for. And hopefully if enough attention is put onto this, it can become unlost. Alright, so our story begins with the Persona 4 light novel, Persona Cross Detective Naoto. This came out all the way back in 2012, this thing is nearly 10 years old. And it's basically a follow-up to Persona 4 starring Naoto, and this light novel is, pretty disliked. Remarkably, I don't think I've ever made a video dedicated to this light novel, but yeah, basically imagine, like, Persona 4 fanfiction written by a guy who really likes Naoto, while simultaneously not really understanding her character at all. So yeah, the light novel incarnation of this has been available for years and years and years. Like, it's had a fan translation for a very long time. This is very readily available and easy to access. And in fact, if you want to read it, like, you can just go to the Megami Tensei wiki and the fan translation is just listed right there. So to be clear, the light novel is not what we're looking for. What we're looking for is the manga adaptation, which came a little bit after. So the manga adaptation is basically the exact same story as the light novel. Obviously, the only difference is that it's in manga form. And this manga adaptation is the subject of intrigue for today's video because we are missing the last couple of chapters of this manga. So hopping over to the Lost Media wiki here, this is what they have to say about it. Over the course of its run, the first 12 chapters were collected into 2 tankobon volumes under the Dengeki Comics Next label, both of which are easy to find and purchase online. However, chapters 13 through 19 never got released into tankobon format, only being serialized in Dengeki Mao. Despite this, Volume 3 was slated for a June 27, 2015 release, and has multiple listings and confirmation from Dengeki Mao. So for anybody who's maybe a little bit confused about this statement, what usually happens with manga is, first the chapters are published in a magazine, like Shonen Jump for example. The comics are first published there, and then later on, various chapters are collected into what's called a tankobon. So if you've ever bought like a volume of manga, that's probably what you've bought is the tankobon. It's basically just the collection of those chapters that were published in the magazine. And so that's what happened with this manga is, first of all, the chapters were published in Dengeki Mao, and then later on they were collected into 2 different volumes. And these tankobon volumes are very easy to find. Like, I just did a search for Persona Cross Detective Naoto on eBay, and I got multiple results, like, here's the first volume, here's volume 1 and 2, this is the light novel, here it is, here it is, here it is. So these are very easy to find. So the first 2 volumes, which featured the first 12 chapters, are readily available. Like, we have the scans of those, even if they're not translated, like, we have them, right? However, where the story gets interesting is that the third tankobon, which was going to feature chapters 13 through 19, was never published. And this is especially weird because we have references to the manga getting its 3rd volume, right? Like, here we have on Anime News Network an old article where they say, the magazine announced the 3rd volume is stated to ship next spring. So as you can see right here in the little blurb, like, I can't read any of this, but I recognize the 3 at least. So yeah, this is basically them saying, volume 3 will be published whenever. And so that just never happened, which means the only way to read those couple of chapters is to go find the individual magazines that they were printed in and read it that way. And so to me, at least, the only reason why they would just not have a 3rd volume is that the first 2 must have just sold so badly, they decided, you know what, it's not even worth it. Which is kind of crazy to think about. Like, this is the last one. They only had to publish 1 more and they were done with it. But they just decided it wasn't worth the hassle. So yeah, according to the Lost Media Wiki, scans for chapters 13 through 16 exist online, but no scans for 17 through 19 exist. And this is what's, like, totally lost. Nobody has bothered to scan chapters 17 through 19, and as a result, they're kind of just lost to the ether at this point. These scans are just nowhere to be found. I guess nobody either bothered to go through the magazine and scan them, or nobody felt the need to because it was like, oh yeah, the tankobon's coming out, why should I scan the magazine? Except it never did. So yeah, this is what we're trying to find, and something that I think is pretty encouraging about this particular, like, lost media search is the fact that this is super findable, right? This isn't like some movie from the 1920s that burnt up in a fire, or some weird prototype of a video game that was probably destroyed a long time ago. I'd imagine there's a lot of people in Japan who just have this in their house, and they don't even realize it's something that people are looking for. And so to make the search a lot easier, they have which specific issues of the magazine we're looking for. So the 3 magazines that that we're looking for that have these lost chapters are Dengeki Mao October 2014, December 2014, and February 2015. And to make the search a lot easier, we actually have the covers for the magazines we're looking for. So this one here is Dengeki Mao October 2014. It's got Narukami and Yosuke right there smack dab in the middle on the cover. So this one is super easy to spot out in the wild, and something else that I noticed is that Persona Cross Detective Naoto is actually advertised on the cover. You can see right here it says Persona Cross Detective Naoto. So yeah, October 2014, this is one that we're looking for. Then here we have another one we're looking for. This is December 2014. This one has Narukami and the Persona 3 protagonist. And then the final one we're looking for is February 2015. This one has, I think these are Kantai Collection. And these are the three that we're looking for. So if you happen to stumble across these, fucking get them. So if you either know somebody who lives in Japan or you live in Japan yourself, it's definitely worth digging through and trying to find some of these old magazines. Honestly, I'd say the biggest kind of hurdle is just the age of the magazines, and it's not even like they're that old. You know, 2014, 2015, this isn't exactly ancient history. It's not like we're looking for like a magazine from the 70s or something, but so yeah, I think that is the course of action for this, is for anybody who lives in Japan to maybe try to find some old Dengeki Mao issues. They might have some at maybe some used bookstores or secondhand shops or something like that. Like really all it takes is one person finding one of these issues and scanning it, and suddenly it's not lost anymore. So yeah, if you find these magazines or you stumble across a particular lead, feel free to email me. And you never know, you might end up making this manga not lost anymore. But yeah, that has been the video. Thank you all so much for watching, and especially a big thank you to my channel members. Lost media is such an interesting topic. Like, it's crazy to me that we live in the 21st century and stuff can just go missing, right? It's crazy to think that, especially with a series as popular as Persona, there's a manga that's just floating out in the ether, like waiting to be found. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time.